All right, let's jump right in. Today, we are taking a deep dive into the awesome and, yeah, let's be honest, kind of complex world of starting an Airbnb rental arbitrage business in Louisiana. From the tourist madness of New Orleans to some of the hidden gems across the state, we are breaking down the entire playbook for you.
So here's the game plan. First, we'll look at just how big this opportunity really is. Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of the regulations, super important. After that, I'll lay out a step-by-step launch plan. We'll look at the actual money you can make, and finally, we'll talk about how to protect your business. Let's do this.
First up, why Louisiana? I mean, what makes this state such a hotbed for this business model? Well, the opportunity is just massive, and it all starts with some numbers that are pretty mind-blowing.
It really all kicks off with demand. The state is an absolute magnet for tourists, pulling in a staggering 87 million people every single year. And you know what every single one of them needs? A place to stay.
And all that tourism, it's not just people walking around. It translates directly into cold, hard cash. We're talking over $10 billion in visitor spending in New Orleans alone last year. That is the economic engine that creates this constant, powerful hunger for short-term rentals.
But here's what's really cool. This isn't just a New Orleans story. Not at all. You got to look beyond Bourbon Street. Think about Baton Rouge. When it's an LSU football weekend, the whole city sells out. Or look at Lafayette, the heart of Cajun country with all its amazing festivals. And don't sleep on Lake Charles. Between the casinos and a big reconstruction boom, they've got their own unique demand drivers. Each city has its own secret sauce.
So this is the crucial part, the economic math. It's like the perfect recipe for profit. The cost of living in Louisiana is lower, right? That means your startup costs are actually manageable. But, and this is the kicker, the demand is so high that your nightly rates can go toe-to-toe with way more expensive markets. It's really the best of both worlds. Okay, now, before you get too excited and start hunting for apartments, we have to hit pause for a reality check. You absolutely must master the complex patchwork of rules and regulations. This is the part that trips a lot of people up.
You know, this one phrase from our research just nails it. Navigating a patchwork of state requirements and city-specific rules. That right there, that is the main challenge for any new host in Louisiana. There's no one-size-fits-all answer. It's all about knowing the local landscape. And here's exactly what that patchwork looks like on the ground. New Orleans is the most complex, with strict permits, specific zoning, and fines that will make your eyes water. We're talking $500 a day. Then you go to Baton Rouge, they have their own permit system and limits on how many can operate in one area. But then you drive over to Lafayette, and it's a totally different world, a much lighter touch. What's a perfectly legal business in one city could get you shut down in another.
And taxes are a whole other layer to this puzzle. This chart for New Orleans illustrates it perfectly. You see the state sales tax? That's just one piece of the story. The much bigger piece is the parish and local tax. And here's the part you have to know. Airbnb usually handles the state portion for you, but that bigger blue section you see here, that's all on you to collect and remit.
Okay, so you've seen the massive opportunity, and you've seen the regulatory hurdles. The big question is, how do you actually do it? Well, here it is. This is the exact step-by-step playbook to get you from just an idea to actually seeing cash flow.
This is your path. And listen, the order here is critical. First, pick your market and model. Then, form a real business like an LLC. Then, secure a property with the landlord's permission in writing. After that, get all your permits and licenses. Next, furnish it beautifully and get professional photos. And finally, you list it and automate your operations. Sticking to this sequence is the key to doing it right.
Now, for anyone just starting out, this model, rental arbitrage, is often the ideal way in. Why? Because it lets you get in the game and start generating cash flow without needing a huge pile of cash to actually buy a property. All right, let's get to the section I know you've been waiting for. We've talked theory, we've talked rules, now let's look at the numbers. What can you actually expect to make in the Pelican State?
This data table is basically your business plan cheat sheet. You can see the trade-off clear as day. New Orleans offers the highest potential annual revenue for a two-bedroom, up to $65,000, but it comes with high entry difficulty. On the other end, cities like Lafayette and Lake Charles have much lower barriers to entry, making them fantastic markets to learn the ropes.
And this is where it gets really compelling. We're not just talking about gross revenue. This shows that even in a high-cost market like New Orleans, after you pay your single biggest expense, the monthly rent to your landlord, a successful arbitrage property can still generate $1,000 to $2,000 of net income for your business every single month. Finally, let's cover the single most overlooked step, but one that is absolutely critical to protecting your entire investment and your future income. It's non-negotiable.
Please, whatever you do, do not make this mistake. Relying on your standard homeowners or renters insurance is one of the fastest ways to go out of business. As you can see, standard policies explicitly exclude commercial activity, meaning if a guest gets hurt, you are not covered. A dedicated STR policy is designed for this business, covering paying guests, liability, and even lost income. The difference is night and day.
And in a state like Louisiana, the risks are unique. Hurricane season is a fact of life, and your standard policy almost certainly will not cover flood damage. You'll probably need a separate policy for that. And remember, Airbnb's air cover is a helpful backup, but it is not a substitute for a real, comprehensive insurance policy that protects your assets.
So there you have it, the full picture. An incredible opportunity for profit driven by massive tourism, but balanced by a complex web of regulations and unique risks. With a clear view of the huge potential and the very real challenges, the final decision rests with you. Is the reward worth your risk?